So welcome back. We just came from our short break and thank you so much for tuning in, na pia wale wanatujoin kwa sasa, karibuni sana. Unaweza tupata upande wetu wa Facebook, tunaingia live, na pia upande wa YouTube tunaingia live Mwangaza TV. Na hapa ni Heavenly Praise Show ndani ya Mwangaza TV. Karibu sana, tukunde top of the hour kwa topic yetu ya leo, na tulisema topic yetu ya leo ni start where you are. Start where you are. Anza pale upo, ama na pale na chochote kile unacho. Na neno letu linatoka kwenye kitabu cha Zakaria 4:10. Zakaria sura ya 4 mstari wa 10. It says, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Zakaria 4:10, that's our word for today. Topic ni start where you are. So hiyo neno inatuambia do not despise the small beginnings. Kile chochote umeanza kidogo. Hata kama sometimes everybody have big dreams. So don't just wait that tunasema wakati nitapata pesa, nitaanza biashara fulani. The small you have, just begin with what you have. Kama uko na 5,000, fikiria biashara inaweza anza na 5,000, unacheza kama wewe. Kama uko na 10,000, changamka. So the Lord, jua hata neno inatuambia, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Mungu pia anafurahia akiona umeanzisha. Hiyo ingine unamwachia, wewe unaanza, hiyo ingine unaachia Mungu. So our word is from Zechariah chapter 4 verse 10. The topic is start where you are. Pia nimesema wale ambao wanatujoin, upande wa Facebook Mwangaza TV, upande wa YouTube Mwangaza TV. SMS line yetu ni 22914. Na tutakapomaliza show tutakuwa tukisoma comments zenu, and God will bless you. So tuambie pale comment section umeanza nini? Kama umeanza kitu, ulianza na aje, kiasi gani, pesa ngapi ulianzia nayo pale, ama unatamani kuanzia kitu fulani ama kitu gani, na Mungu atakubariki. So our points, and our first point is start with what you have. That is our first point from our topic of start where you are. So our first point is start with what you have, and we get from the word from the book of 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 1 to 7. Chapter 4 verse 7 only had a small, it says, "Then he said, go borrow vessels and pour out into all those vessels, and she poured until they were all full." Hii ni story kwa Bible from the book of 2 Kings. Inaongelelea the widow ambaye alikuwa na a small jar of oil, na wakati aliprofesaiwa akaambiwa, enda uchukue uombe, go borrow other jars from your neighbors, ukuje uweke mafuta. That was a miracle yenye alikuwa na feel inaendelea tu kuongezeka, anaongeza haishi. So that was with what she had. That is an example now from start with what you have. She had little and she put faith and she obeyed what the prophet of God told her, na ndio huyo akaeka mafuta na akaendelea kujaza. Na that is a miracle that happened because she believed and she started with what she had. So don't wait until everything looks perfect. You can start anytime, anywhere with what you have. And as the word has said from the book of Zechariah, even God rejoices when he sees something that if your work begin. Any work that you begin, God rejoices in it. So you may feel with whatever you have isn't enough. So if you feel kile uko nayo haiko enough, uwezi anzisha kitu, ama uwezi fanya biashara, ama uwezi itafuta kazi. Kama ni kazi una apply, put faith, you take a step, you have the papers, changamka, enda tafuta hizo interview, tafuta hizo companies ziko na vacancy, make a step of faith and you will see God work his way. And the lesson we learn from from the first point is start with what you have, is when we read that story of the widow from 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 3 to 6, or chapter 4 verse 1 to 7. The lesson is use the small you have. the small thing you have, anything that you have that small, the faith. Hata kama uko na imani ndogo, jaribu weka hiyo imani, tumia hiyo imani kuanzisha kile unataka kuanzisha. Kama ni biashara, weka imani kwa Mungu. Mungu anasema ukishaanzisha hiyo nyingine unamwachia, hiyo nyingine ni yake. So second, our second point is don't compare your beginnings to others. Compare your beginnings to others. Don't compare your beginnings to others. It means that some people are always ahead, others ndio wanaanza, wengine hata wajaanza, wema wanafikiria kuanza. Everybody's journey is not the same. So you don't have to compare your life with somebody else. Labda baraka zake zimekuja wakati huu, zako zitakuja next time, ama zitachukua muda. Maybe somebody was blessed, ama baraka zake zilikuja wakati akiwa 20 years, 21, 22. Sasa wewe unaona lifestyle anaishi, unaanza kusema hey, that guy is only 20 or 21 and is already a millionaire. Hey bro, Mungu anajua wakati wa baraka zako kuja. Everybody has their own time, and don't compare your beginnings. Anaweza kuwa ameanzisha mapema, labda yeye kile wewe umebaki Mungu anakuandalia is billions and you are looking at the millions. So don't compare your beginnings to others. Everyone's journey is different, and that we get an encouragement from the book of 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 7. For the Lord does not see as man sees. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. For the Lord does not see as man sees. Mungu haoni vile sisi tunaona. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Kama binadamu kawaida sisi, you will judge anybody with the appearance, the outward, what you see in that person. Unaona mtu labda ni mchafu, hajavaa vizuri, unaanza kufikiria mtu hata ana pesa. Labda ni milionea tu ameamua kuvaa casual, like anybody else can dress the way they want, but as in our mind as humans, una expect mtu akona millions ama akona pesa mzuri, ako privileged, avae smart, avae masuti, watu unavaa nguo za bei. But there are people who are millionaires and they don't dress up like that. But the word says that the Lord looks at our heart, what is in your heart. So don't compare yourself to others. Ukikaa tu kwa roho yako unafikiria tu unataka kukaa kama fulani, pia Mungu anaona wewe, ataona kama you want to paste and copy somebody's life, ama unataka kushindana na vile mtu mwingine anaishi. Don't compare yourself to others. That's our second point. And also, let's just focus to be faithful, not famous. To just focus on how to be faithful to God with the small we have, with whatever we think, whatever we do. Let's just be faithful to God. Usitake kukua famous. Unajua TikToks watu wanasumbua watu, social media, you start seeing other people's lifestyle, that is what you envy. No, don't compare your beginnings to others. Kila mtu akona wakati wake wa kubarikiwa. The same way we read from David's story that hakuanza akiwa king. He was just a shepherd. Alikuwa anaangalia na chunga mbuzi huko. And his journey throughout, ukaona mpaka Mungu akakumleta akakuwa king. If God just wanted, because he knew he'll become a king, if he wanted, angemweka tu kings direct straight away. But he had to go through a process. Everybody has to go through a process, and our processes are different. The process I will go through to be somewhere else, to be on a certain level, is not the same process that you are going to go through. So don't compare your beginnings to others. That's our second point. And our third point, from start where you are, is take one step at a time. Take one step at a time. Usikuwa unakimbiza mambo, unataka kufanya vitu zote mara moja umalize ukafunge na ni hivyo. No, take one step at a time. You don't have to do everything at once. When example is from the book of Matthew chapter 14 verse 29. It says, then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. Then Peter got out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. That is from the book of Matthew 14:29. That's an example where Peter stepped out of the boat. He didn't walk the whole journey. Ali make 2 steps. Na wakati alianza kuogopa ndio akaanza kusink kwa maji, but he took one step. He did not like tembea the whole journey ya kutembea kwa maji throughout. No, he took a step. That is an example from that book of Matthew 14:29. So take one step at a time. Don't think of starting everything mara moja. Hata hiyo biashara ukisema leo umefungua cafeteria, next time una expand, unakuta unafungua hadi hoteli, unaanza kuongeza mahali watu inakuwa restaurant kubwa. So take one step at a time. So every step you take in faith brings you closer to your purpose. Every step you take with faith or in faith brings you closer to your purpose. And our fourth point is trust God to do the rest. As you have said, just trust God to do the rest. We anza tu mahali umeanza na ile kidogo uko nayo, hiyo ingine unaachia Mungu, anakuja kufanya ingine yote. When you begin, God will continue with what you started. You don't have to do everything today. Ukianza tu, just begin today, but don't do everything today. Just begin today, and God will do the rest. In the book of Matthew 14:29 it says, the same way you have said that Peter alimake one step kwa maji akitembea towards Jesus. Wakati aliuliza Mungu, alishtuka, anaona mbona yeye anatembea kwa maji, hata akasema kaka imani hata yeye anaweza tembea kama vile Yesu anatembea kwa maji. And that is when he took one step, kuingiza mguu kwa maji. The same applies to us. Let's take one step at a time. Let's trust God to do the rest. So we do not need to know the full plan. Just trust one who holds it. The plans, kama vile kuna word tulisoma last week, that we have to plan for things. Of course, we have to budget. We talked about managing money goals last week on Wednesday. And one of the points we said that you have to budget for something. You put a cost, you budget for the cost, you plan. So even here, when you already have a plan and you made a step of faith, hiyo ingine unaachia Mungu anafanya. So start and trust God to do the rest. Wewe anza, hiyo ingine achia Mungu afanye. And our fifth point, which is our last point, celebrate small progress. Ukishafanya kitu, of course you feel good when you start something and you see the fruits of it, even if how small it is. You feel great. Yani na leo nimefanya kitu and you feel great. So you celebrate the small progress. Even every small step, every small progress matters. So Galatians 6:9 reminds us, let us not grow weary in doing good, for the due season we shall reap if we do not give up. So let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not give up. Kama uta give up, you will surely reap the good you have been sowing. So the lesson we learn from that point, we celebrate small progress, is God celebrates your effort. Keep going even when progress feels small. Hata Mungu umesikia akisema from the book of Zechariah chapter 4 verse 10 says that God rejoices when work begin. Kila tu unaanza Mungu anafurahia. So even us, because we are created in the image of God, in the likeness of God, pia sisi tunafurahia. We celebrate the small beginnings that we have begun, the small things we've done, the big things we have. We have big dreams. Everybody has a big dream, and you cannot achieve that big dream if you do not start. Everybody who is successful, hata ukiangalia watu mabilionea, mamillionaires, they started somewhere. If you read their story, if you learn their story, if you engage with them, they will always tell you that they started somewhere. So they did not despise their small beginnings. They took a step of faith, and they also embraced the little they have and trusted God. And you see today some of them they are like our mentors. We look up to them. So when you are somebody everywhere you're looking up to, you can ask them and you will learn that they started from somewhere small. So if that big dream that you have, anzia na ile uko nayo. If you want to have said, if you want to study, kama uko na hiyo dream ya kukua kwa TV, chukua hiyo step of faith. Even if you don't have school fees, just go inquire any school that you feel like you want to learn to become what you want. Ingia pale, alafu hiyo ingine unaambia Mungu, sasa mimi nimeenda fanya part yangu. You also open a door in this side, and God will always be there for you. We have said that celebrate small progress. So our topic for today, start where you are, is a very conversant topic to each and every one of us, and we have said that we have the 5 points that we have said. Start with what you have. That's our first point. Our second point is don't compare your beginnings to others. That is our biggest issue. Don't compare your beginnings to others. Take one step at a time, trust God to do the rest, and celebrate small progress, and God will bless you. That is our topic for today. So don't wait for the perfect time. You said you can start today, even today, tomorrow. You can start with whatever you have. Start where you are, and God will bless you. So take that step of faith. Weka imani kwa Mungu, unufanye kile unasikia kwa roho yako. Just do what you feel. You do it effortlessly. When you do something that you love most, that you like, and hata ukiamshwa kwa usingizi, you just good to go. Do that thing with faith. Start with faith, and God will handle the rest. So a final verse for today, which is our encouragement for today: commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. That is Proverbs 16:3. Proverbs 16:3, that is our verse that says, commit to whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. So commit whatever plans you have to the Lord. Commit that dream to the Lord, and He will establish it in due time, and at the time that He sees is perfect and good for you. But you and me should just take one step, and we should also celebrate the small progress that we have done. Ukiona umefanya kitu mpaka hata wewe mwenyewe unafurahia, you celebrate and you thank God for giving you that chance, for giving you that faith, that trust to begin. So thank you so much for wale wametu join, wamesikiza hiyo ad, na wamesikiza topic yetu ya leo. So you share with your friends, upande wa Facebook, upande wa YouTube. Share with your friends whatever you've learned, so that even them, they will feel encouraged. For those who are tuning in, like, share, and those who have commented, continue commenting. We have said our social media handles are Mwangaza TV on all our social platforms, and our SMS line is 22914. For now, let's get some music, then tutarejea.